So today's video is all about trying and failing in your artistic pursuits. If you're anything like me, you've got an idea in your head. It's like a really good idea. It's just come down from my skylight and you're like, that's amazing. I want to do that. And then you sit down, you get your paper, you get your ink, your paint, your charcoal, your whatever, and you sit down and you sketch it out, and as soon as it touches the pages, it becomes the worst thing you have ever produced in your life. Every mistake's a failure. You are not an artist. You've been lying to everyone and yourself. Everyone, you can go in the hood. You can go in the hood, it's okay. So I'm going to talk about that while I do these next two paintings that undoubtedly are going to go wrong at some point. Okay, so let's do that. Especially when you're starting out, you really want the world to see you at your best, you know. But life happens, and despite common sense repeatedly telling me otherwise, mistakes occur that fill me with horror every time I see them, and you know, which is silly really, because you know, without those mistakes you don't learn or progress, especially when messing around with new mediums or mediums you used to know but have become unfamiliar with. And we shouldn't really be afraid to acknowledge that we did make a mistake. You can see with the ink just there, actually, with the wash that I tried to put down, I was expecting a nice light ink wash, just started off work from, you know, lights to darks like I would in watercolour, but I had actually forgotten to dilute the ink I was going to use. So instead of getting a nice light blush stroke, I got a wall of solid black, and you can see my initial moment of panic when I tried to sort that out. But you know, you just had this moment where, you know, the camera's rolling. I didn't want to pause the footage and have to fiddle around with it and maybe get a shaky camera, so I just went straight in with the water and carried on. And in retrospect, I think that was the good choice to make. You can still see where it dried unevenly in the final piece even, but it doesn't bother me that much, or rather much less than I thought it would. Considering that wherever I go on the art side of YouTube, I see flawless execution, and these big art tubers make it all look so effortless, and I think it's just nice to acknowledge that it's not the reality for most of us, or even really for them. You know, the magic of editing software and good camera angles does wonders. But back to my piece. Regardless of my mess up with the wash, I had fun. It was nice to work smaller and with the same initial composition for both pieces, the circle in the middle with nothing else initially, because I don't, it sounds bad, but I don't think about composition when I do my work. I just want to draw usually a figure with some flowing fabric, maybe some chains. I find that a lot in my work. But I've seen a lot of things on Instagram to do with having a basic shape and then shaping your illustration around that, and I really wanted to give it a try, and I think, considering it was my first attempt, it went rather well. Out of the two of them, I think I have a slight preference for the snake. It's very close, but the skeleton one, though it gives a good story, I struggled a little bit with fitting him into the circle. I do like the way his arm hangs and the bottle, and I think it's the flower that's throwing me off. I think it's like I tried to mix a triangle and a circle composition in the same thing, and I don't think it worked as well as I had hoped. We'll see in a second when we get to the snake that, you know, I was, you know, using an S composition with the water to lead into it, and then had the snake coiled inside and floating. And I think it's just much nicer on the eyes. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you here with the voiceover. Sorry, I've had a bit of a cold recently, and the lovely British June weather full of rain isn't helping. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you next time. Bye. So I don't think it turned out that badly in the end, and it just goes to show that even if you do mess up, like so you've got the little ripped edges on this one, and of course the ink spreading with my masking tape did not mask as I wanted it to mask. You know, you could always touch them up later. If I were better with paint, which I'm not, I'd touch up the edges, but at the very least I know I can scan them into Photoshop or Affinity Photo and just straighten that out here. Talking with me today, I hope you enjoyed the content of the video. Be sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of cool stuff right there. And I will see you next time. Bye.